Matthew Lee, Inner City Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks again for coming to do this briefing.
Pleasure.
I wanted to ask you about a couple things about the UN and education.
Yes.
One is, since the last time you've been here, it's emerged that the UN peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic itself used schools as a military base, which is something I know that your office has been critical of armies for doing. What are the provisions for the UN itself not using it? There's also a case in South Sudan where to take a test, students were made to leave a UN protection of civilian site where they felt safe and were told by the government you have to leave the site to take the test. Many of them didn't take the test. And I wanted to know, since it seems the mission didn't do anything about that, whether that's the kind of thing your office can work on. And finally, since you mentioned the Internet, I wanted to know whether you're aware of the situation in the Anglophone areas of Cameroon, where the Internet has been turned off for 91 days now, including in schools, and whether you see that as something that your office could work on. And I wanted to ask Stephane one thing. I just noticed here now that the press conference of the African Union has been canceled. So I wanted to know, can you explain that, and why wasn't the stakeout co-moderated by the African Union?
The AU just texted me, said they canceled the press conference.
Why wasn't the stakeout co-moderated by them?
Because I moderated it.
Okay.
Well, it's good, isn't it? Give me the chance to speak.
You have more time now.
No, but I don't want to cut across your explanation.
Sure.
But you're raising, look, education appeals in Africa for money in conflict zones, and I include all the countries that you mentioned. South Sudan is one of them. Education appeals that were issued for Syria perhaps got a 40% response. There was an education appeal because of difficulties in South Sudan. It got 2.5% of what was asked for. Burkina Faso, 1.7%.
I just want to ask one. I just want to be clear that it's not about remote areas. In the case of Cameroon, it's the government intentionally cutting the internet for now 91 days.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying
Sure.
to you that where there are 75 million children today in conflict zones, and where in some cases it is impossible to reach them, then there are other methods that can be used that we've been stressing. And this is where the private sector that was mentioned before can come in, that the internet companies should be coming together, not to promote their own brands, but to come together